But that's just how it is. Sometimes characters take a little bit to cook and pop out properly. It flows like speaking. Exactly, bruh. Leon gets it. This is Astronus. His name, if you break it up, it means from the stars because he was born in space. So there's also that. He's a fandom character for Exocolonist, the game, so I kind of have stuff to build off of, and it's always nice when you have stuff to build off of. So he has like these plant tattoos that glow under black light, and his clothes are supposed to disappear when he's under black light because the way the planet works in that game, during the glow season, it's like a giant black light has fallen over everything. And so some stuff glows. So he blends into the environment. His whole thing is that he's like kind of a hippie. He just really loves the planet, so he just works with it. See, this creature flowed over time because I don't know, my characters sort of build themselves. I'm like, okay, how do I imagine this character in my head? He's going to be part Gemsbok. Is it Gemsbok? I think it's Gemsbok. Probably. It's the big horned guys. As you can see. He has little horns on his head. They're supposed to be longer than that, but this was a sketch. So I was like, okay, imagine him like that. So I imagine him with little ears. I guess I just have an idea and I execute it. And the rest of it flows as I'm drawing. I started with, he has white hair, he has little ears, he has a little nose, and the rest of his body is pretty much human. Okay, go into it, think about what I'm doing. He's gonna have skin-tight clothing because his job is to be like an adventurer, basically. So he's not gonna want stuff that's baggy. So also stuff like that comes into account. So I make it like a sleeveless top thing. He collects a lot of stuff, so he has a lot of pockets. Okay, awesome.
Yeah. No, like, the way that you're explaining that is, like, so... Yeah, 'cause I think sometimes when you think of a character, you automatically in your head are like, I kind of have an idea. Like, I know the core visual elements of, like... Because sometimes when you're, like...
Yeah.
I guess I'm just using what I'm doing, for example. Like, oh, I'm making a tiefling. They're gonna have horns and a tail. And some sort of, like, odd skin color. Yeah. And then you kind of work off of that, right? It's like, you know those are going to be, like, the constant things. So you kind of just, like... Like the little Mario Kart item sound.
Exactly.
Guys, if you see the new Mario Kart trailer, you can be a cow.
You can be the cow. I remember I saw that.
Yes. Okay, I will now actually go to eating. I will not.
Bro is eating. Munch, 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 munch.
Yes, I have to eat, and I don't want to eat on call. I think
ASMR.
No chewing sounds for me. This is a public stream.
I think
Rex will not eat in front of you.
Rex will not eat. What?
Well, I'm Rex in this moment, and
damn it, man. Damn it. Oh well, we'll just have to live with that. I think I find it a lot easier to make characters when it's a fandom character, but I think that's only because I find it interesting. Yeah, they didn't know what else to add and added the cow. It's just so silly. You can play as the Moo Moo Meadows cow in the new Mario Kart. It's so silly. It's so silly. But you know the people who choose that are gonna freaking decimate the whole race. They're gonna be like the top players. Just sending this. Alright. So I think the only reason why I prefer to make fandom characters is because I find it fun. But have I made characters from scratch? Now I'm like, not recently. I guess I start with an idea, and then usually like a vague sort of image in my head, and then they get a name, and once they get a name it sort of solidifies, and then sometimes I have to draw them a couple times to fully bring them out properly, like Astronus. Kind of have to draw him a couple times. I kind of imagine what they're doing in my head, imagine how they would interact with other characters, imagine how they would react to situations, and that's the character. A lot of, especially with fandom characters, I find that you can build them up quickly if you're like, okay, how are they going to interact with my favorite canon characters? So like, if I really like Tangent Exocolonist, how the heck is this dude gonna interact with Tangent Exocolonist? Well, it flows really easily in my brain, honestly. I say, okay, well, my character thinks she's really cool, but she kind of is standoffish towards him, and maybe they warm up to each other, but my character's sort of like a golden retriever in comparison, so it kind of takes a second. It flows. I don't know how to explain it other than it flows, but there's certain things I can do to like start the flow, to get past the mind block. So I guess my biggest tip would be, if you're making a character, regardless if it's fandom or not, if it's completely original, think of a situation that they would find themselves in and think how they would react to that situation. Or think of how they would react to meeting a certain person. And they start to build themselves. Also, some characters take a while to come out. Like I said, Astronus took a while to pop out. Physically. He had a personality for a while, but he kind of went through different personalities. I was just kind of changing things. So don't be discouraged if you draw the same character like 87,000 times and you still are not happy with it, because some creatures, they need to be worked on a little bit before they can come out. That's really... That's really how it is. I've never watched Beastars, but I'm making 2 Beastars characters. Or at least 1, but I think I'm making 2. And so these are fresh little creatures, and I don't know anything about the source material. My friend is telling me about it, and I'm planning on watching it, but right now, don't know the source material. So technically non-fandom character. Kind of. Yeah, Beastars! So the idea I have for one is I see her as a white fluffy sheep with horns. Huge horns that curl around her ears, and she stands like she's tough, but she's not mean. She's just tough. And that's all maybe green eyes, that's all I can get out of it right now. She's just fresh. So I take this sheep, this white sheep, and my next step would be to give her a name. Well, I'm gonna have to think about that for a second, because I still don't really know if I'm gonna go ahead with this character. Although, you know, a good rule of thumb, if you already have an idea, it's meant to be. Like, you're not gonna create a character that's not meant to be, otherwise you wouldn't want to make it. I'm just sort of wondering if I want to make her a sheep or something else, but right now, a sheep. So what else can I gather from this character? Well, she has kind of curly wool, and I had the idea that she was gonna be a teacher. So maybe she's sort of like stern but kind. You know, like a freaking girl boss sheep. Works with small children. Is very sweet, but, you know, has that toughness. Okay, so, I don't know. Add a random fact. What would her favorite food be? Well, I feel like she'd be quite fond of salads. Don't know why, but that came into my mind. Salads with a lot of different stuff. You know, with the cranberries and the nuts in it? That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, cranberry, like those really fancy salads. I feel like she would like that. Okay, so does she have a hobby? Well, maybe she likes to sculpt or do paper work or something artistic like that. Or maybe she plays an instrument. Or see, if you ask yourself questions, you can build the character up from nothing. So I have another character. He's gonna be a painted dog. The idea I have for him, he's kind of like a hippie guy. He's kind of chill. I feel like he wears baggy clothes. He's a painter because I thought it was funny. A painted dog would be a painter. So, I don't know. Let's think of something kind of quirky. Maybe he collects coins. Maybe he collects coins and makes jewelry out of them as a side thing. And it kind of, you hear as he walks the clinking of the coin necklace and bracelets that he's made. And, you know, he sells it as a side thing. Okay, then, you know, what would his hobby be? Well, I feel like he would swim. And I feel like he really likes cake. Which is an interesting... You see how it's sort of firing off over it, you know. So really, grab your little character. I recommend giving them a name to kind of solidify them. Once you have that first image. And then just ask yourself questions and answer them. I don't have a name for those guys, so I didn't really follow my own advice, but I'll do that later. Don't worry. I feel like giving them a name anchors them. So if you have an idea and you give it a name, it's anchored. Boom. Like, you can start working on that, and it's gonna be, you know, these two designs I'm making are still up in the air. I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna do with them. Even though I had some cute ideas. If you think about... That's why I say fandom stuff is easier, but it's really not. It's just whatever you find fun is easier. You could find world building your own world really fun, and then it would flow for you. It's the same thing with drawing. If you don't think it's fun, it's not gonna flow for you. Which we were kind of talking about before. A lot of creativity is just flow. You know, the show Dispatches from Elsewhere, and long story short, the Elsewhere, sort of the concept of Elsewhere is sort of like a creative thing. Like when you get into the flow, you've gone elsewhere. So what you really need to do when you do anything creative is go elsewhere. You know, you can't let your brain get in the way. You have to just let it flow. And this sort of the concept of Elsewhere was getting into the flow of it. Exactly. Deep. I freaking love that show. It's so good. And you know, it's something you sometimes have to train yourself. You know, you have to physically, if you're prone to overthinking, you have to be like, wait, let me take a deep breath. Let me try to figure out what I'm doing here. I mean, as you can see, I haven't really... When I'm talking, I don't get a lot of art done because I'm not going elsewhere. I'm kind of, sort of, everywhere. I don't know. That's a lot of just get out of your mind and just do it. And it takes some practice sometimes, but you can do it. Anyone could do it. Love that show. So good. But, you know, character making is a creative thing, as well as drawing. Writing, music, drawing.
Hello, I'm popping back in.
Hello,
I'm
La
not
Creatura.
chewing too loudly so you guys won't hear me.
Munch, 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 munch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anything?
What are you guys talking about?
I'm talking
Still on
about...
character design and stuff?
Sort of. I'm talking about creativity in general. You know, getting into the flow of things.
Real.
You haven't watched Dispatches from Elsewhere, but... The Elsewhere is the creative flow.
I do have many other shows to talk about because I have been... I've been watching a lot of D&D shows, so this is the primary topic of apparently my discussion today. Also, haven't had like anyone to talk about it with, so like I've been waiting for this. I've been watching a lot of D20.
Yeah.
Dimension 20. And that specific part is like a whole bunch of like D&D. Well, it's not just 5e. They use other systems, but I binge watched all 3 seasons of Fantasy High, which is like their like premiere series. It's like the first series they ever made, and it's essentially it's like magical adventuring high school. But I specifically want to talk about one character. I was gonna like send you this, but then I was like, they're not gonna understand this, but I'm gonna just say it now. So there's this character in the party. I kid you not, his name is Riz.
His name is Riz.
But this was before
his name is
like
Riz.
Like the word was a thing.
Hello, Dorito. Before the word was a thing, yes.
Yeah, before the word was a thing. And there was this like funny little thing that kind of kept happening in the second season where like in this first part like in like one of the first episodes of the season, there was this part where someone asked him who he was dating, and like he lied and he said, I'm dating such and such from where you don't know her, she doesn't go to the school. Like very bad.
You don't know her.
Right.
She didn't go to this school.
Exactly. You know, kind of like came back to bite him in a really like interesting kind of like narrative way, which I won't spoil for like anyone who's like actually like watching it. But there is this scene later on where he's talking to somebody, talking to a parent of his, and you know, and this parent's like, hey, like I don't see you like dating like anybody, or like is there anyone like you're interested in, or anyone, you know, and they're like, no, not really. I care a lot about I care a lot about like my friends and all that, and as the conversation kept going, I was at work when this was happening. The commission, sorry, not the commission. The conversation kept going, and I was like, "Character asexual, or like asexual and aromantic?" And I was like, "Oh, they are completely." And I was generally like, "Oh my god, this is my favorite character. I knew I liked this character." And I really related to that character very deeply, so they're my favorite because of that. They're a little goblin.
They're a little goblin.
I think that's funny, because I'm also a little goblin. I'm a little goblin. I'm a little goblin. I like trash. I'm a little goblin. I am an enjoyer.